Hey Franco, what's going on? Just trying to make a quick video for you here about dropping strands. I'm going to have my daughter hold the camera and film this for me, so hopefully you can get an idea of what I do. Um, but I don't have a GoPro to mount on my chest or anything, so I'll show you what's going on. Working on a 12-foot Indy, and what I do is basically what I saw Joe Strain do in a video that he actually sold me off of his, I guess not off of his website, but I got it directly from Joe. It was a video that he made years ago. But what he does basically what Terry Jacket does, which is to drop a strand. I'm going to start dropping this strand first on the right, the very bottom strand, and then the very top strand on the left. And what I personally like to do is to tie a knot in this strand, and you'll see why later. So anyway, I'm going to drop this strand first. So what I do, essentially this could drop into the core right now, but I don't like to do that. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'm going to keep track of where it's at. So my next pull, let's see, there's the strand I tied a knot in. Now it's in the front too. So they're going to drop at the same spot basically. One of them's going to be on the back and one will be on the front. So this pull puts that first drop strand in second place right here. And so create another one over there. This puts it in third place. Now that I've got that strand I want to drop in third place, now I'm going to go ahead and reach under like it's just a regular pull. I'm going to go ahead and pull it tight so it tightens up way back here, and then lay it into the core and kind of shove these two strands up a little bit, just a bit, to make up for that loss of strand. And so then I'm just going to plait normal and keep going over 3 on the left, and on the right I'm just going over 2, and you can see that gap's kind of right there. So I'm going to go over 2 and over here again over 3. Over here I'm going to go over 2, and then over 3, and this right here, there's the gap. This will be the last strand that I can pull at my previous angle. And so now over 2 again, and now this strand, you can see when I pull this one, I'm going to have to kind of look. The angle's going to have to change a little bit to make up for that, the loss of strand there. So I'm going to pull that at an angle, and you'll see that there's the strand I dropped. It didn't get tightened. Now I'm tightening the ones beyond it. But that also means, when you see that, obviously I'm sure you know that means my strand with a knot in it is back up here. Now I get to drop it. I'm going to put it under everything and lay it in place almost where it would go, right there. Go ahead and put it into the core after pulling it nice and tight. And now again over here, go over 2. Well, I'll try to have this strand run right along the back side of that one. And you'll see that kind of wants to create a gap right there where this strand's had to make up the loss for that strand. So anyway, I'll kind of shove that up just a bit and then keep breeding. Over 3 on the left and over 2 on the right. Keeping in mind that my angle had to change a little bit now because the strands there's fewer of them. And I'm sure you know that. I'm sure also you can tell that looking at the way I braid, as far as the way I grab my strands and sort them out, is totally wrong and very time consuming. Lifting these up, putting these down, lifting those back up again and grabbing a strand over here. I know it's a complete and total waste of time, but that's just the way I do it. It works for me. It helps me to keep my seam straight somehow. But anyway, that pull right there tightened up this strand above the drop strand. So I want to pull one more on the left so that this strand tightens up, and this one will be less apt to get pulled if this one's tight. So I'm going to go one more time on the right and one more time over 3 on the left. You know what? I'm going to do it even one more time. And now here's why I tied a knot. I want to pull this strand tight first. So what I'm going to do is find the drop strand that doesn't have the knot, which is not that, it's this one. So here's that first drop strand that doesn't have the knot tied in it. That's the first top strand there. So I'm going to pull it tight, and you'll see that strand just kind of get pulled into place nice and neat right there. So that pulled it tight, and I had already yanked it fairly tight when I initially dropped it. And you can look over here and see that I don't have any kind of gap or anything where that strand dropped into the cord and didn't come out over here, because by shoving those up just a little bit, I fixed that issue. So now, since I know I have 10 strands, I'm probably going to pull maybe another 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now I haven't seen that drop on the back side yet, so this is where, now that I've tightened all those up again beyond where that one got dropped, I can flip this over and kind of look at what I got. And so you can see right here, there's the strand that got dropped, and it's still not quite as tight. So what I do is I just typically, now I know that I need to grab the strand that does have the knot in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's my overlay strands. And so the strand that does have the knot in it, now I can pull it tight. I'm going to put, really I can see it better from over here. So what I do is just kind of look at that strand that was dropped on the back side, and then pull the one with the knot in it to get it nice and tight. I feel like that's good enough, and if I pull it any tighter, it'll probably break. But now you can see that that strand is not sticking up as bad, and it goes in pretty nice. And then over here where it came out, or where it should have came out, which is right around in here, there's no gap on the top side of the braid where that strand is missing. The only other thing I'm going to do is to kind of feel my work and make sure that I don't have an obvious kink or a whip spot or a weak spot, which I don't feel like I do. If anything, it gets a little tight right in there, but I'll just roll that a little extra hard and fix that. So anyway, that is how. Now what I'll do obviously is I'll take a look at how I've tapered everything out in the core. I really messed up on this particular whip and tapered this second bolster way too fast. This is supposed to be a 10-footer, and as you can see, that second bolster, you can probably see I just really dug into it right around in here. So I didn't taper as much out on the inside, and then it all really tapers out down here towards the end of the 10-foot whip to make up for that. So hopefully that works out. I'll have to see. But now I can untie this knot and grab my 2 drop strands and go ahead and taper them out. And that's good enough for me. So wrap my bolster back around there, which again is too narrow already. And anyway, I'll continue braiding on the 10 plait section, and then when I get to the 8 plait, I'll do the exact same thing backwards, where I'll drop the first strand on the left, because then it'll go over 2, and then I'll drop the back strand on the right, and it'll continue to go over 2. But anyway, that's how I do my strand drops, and hopefully this was a good example of what not to do if nothing else. Maybe something you'll get a kick out of. So hope you enjoy the vid, learn a little something from it, and if obviously you got any questions, feel free to get a hold of me. See ya.